Corporate Autopsy, the rise and fall of Blockbuster Video. Hello, and welcome to Corporate Autopsy. Today, we're investigating the death of a true giant, Blockbuster Video. At its peak, it was a $6 billion empire, but in just a few years, it was bankrupt. The usual suspect is Netflix, but the real story is far more shocking. The evidence suggests that Blockbuster wasn't murdered, it was a suicide, driven by corporate greed. Let's begin the investigation. First, let's remember how big Blockbuster was. In the 90s, they were kings. A trip to the store was a weekend ritual for millions. They were an unstoppable cultural force that dominated home entertainment. But their entire empire was built on a secret weapon that customers absolutely hated: late fees. This single policy, designed to penalize customers, was the foundation of their business model. In the year 2000 alone, Blockbuster made $800 million just from late fees. They were making a fortune from customer frustration. This was the poison in their system, long before Netflix was even a real threat. This brings us to the year 2000, and a now legendary meeting. The founders of a tiny startup called Netflix walk into Blockbuster's headquarters. At the time, Netflix was just a small service that mailed DVDs. Netflix had one key advantage: no late fees. They made Blockbuster a simple offer: buy our company for $50 million. We will become your online brand, and you can keep running your stores. It was a chance to own the future for a bargain price. Blockbuster's CEO famously laughed them out of the room. He saw Netflix as a tiny, irrelevant joke, not a revolution. He was completely blinded by his own success and the massive profits from his stores. This moment of pure corporate arrogance was their first major mistake. He had the chance to own his biggest competitor, and he laughed. He refused to see the future standing right in front of him. But Blockbuster didn't die right away. In fact, for a short time, they fought back brilliantly. A new, forward-thinking CEO named John Antioco took over and saw the danger that Netflix posed. He launched Blockbuster Online to compete directly with Netflix, and then, he made a revolutionary move that shocked the industry. He completely eliminated late fees. He decided to give customers what they wanted. And the strategy worked perfectly. Customers loved the change. Online subscriptions exploded, and Blockbuster was finally competing in the modern world. For a moment, it looked like they were on the path to survival. But the story takes a dark turn. The company's powerful investors, led by corporate raider Carl Icahn, were furious. They hated the new strategy because it threatened their easiest source of income. Why were they so angry? Because eliminating late fees, even though it was saving the company, was costing them their easy, short-term profits. They cared more about getting their late fee money now than about the company's long-term survival. The investors declared war on their own CEO. They fought him, undermined his strategy, and eventually, in 2007, they forced him out of the company in a hostile takeover. The new leadership they installed immediately began to undo all the progress. Their first move was to bring back the hated late fees. They also slashed the budget for Blockbuster Online. They chose to retreat to the past, focusing all their energy on the physical stores instead of fighting for the future. This was the fatal, self-inflicted wound. They had a winning strategy and threw it away. So, what is our final verdict from this corporate autopsy? Netflix was not the killer. Netflix was simply the future. Blockbuster was the dinosaur that refused to evolve. The real cause of death was suicide, a suicide driven by arrogance and executed by short-sighted greed. They chose to protect their most hated source of income rather than listen to their customers. Blockbuster's story is the ultimate business lesson. No company is too big to fail, and you must never, ever ignore your customers. They were in the business of convenience, and in the end, they forgot that. They had the chance to buy the future for $50 million, but they were too proud. They had the chance to save themselves, but they were too greedy. Their failure was a choice. Thank you for joining our corporate autopsy. If you want to see more investigations like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon.